The purpose of this presentation is to quickly look at the issue of corporate registers. You're an accountancy practice, you've won a new client, and you've been given the corporate register from either the old accountant or the client themselves, and it's just a file, as we all know. The question is, what do? Are you just going to stick it on the shelf and that's the end of it? Are you going to review it to see that it's in order? And if you are going to review it, why do you do it? How do you do it? And what's the most efficient way of going about it? The purpose of this article and this presentation is to demonstrate a way of going about it and to see that there is a connection between using templates, using an expert type system to produce a result. The first question to ask is, why would you bother checking the file in the first place? Because, as we all know as accountants, time is money, and checking these files often isn't easy. To me, the main reason you do it is, if you don't, once you've had the client for a year or two and all of a sudden you fall out, you'll get the blame for missing documentation. Now, that doesn't mean you're all of a sudden going to face court action or whatever, but you had the file, it's not in order, my accountant must have not kept this or not kept that or lost it. I think you get my point. There are issues if you don't check the file as to how that file will be seen by the client or the new accountant if that client moves on. The next issue is it makes you look very professional. In my opinion, if you take on a new client and you do a corporate file review which outlines the status of that file, what's missing in bits and pieces, the client immediately knows that you are fairly specific and precise. And in my view, when you're taking on new clients, that's a good message to send. The next issue is, even if you don't take any action, you're generally in the clear. And the point about this is, you tell the client that there's all these things missing, the client does nothing about it, but at least you've told them. It's quite clear then that you were on this file, you had identified the issues and you had told them. So you shouldn't have any comeback if those documents turn out to be something that was needed later. Finally, in my opinion, it helps you get the tax right. Often what happens with taxation, particularly with companies, you're starting to pay dividends and things like this, but you're having trouble understanding what are the correct share ownerships or etc., or you're not really sure. The review can actually deliver that outcome. Sometimes the actual ASIC register isn't the reality. The big question then is, who does the work? And this is the critical point, because I can't imagine this being very efficient if a senior accountant or someone who has a fairly in-depth knowledge of the Corporations Act as it pertains to company registers has to go through every file. And this is the point, you don't have to do it. It's possible to get a junior staff member to review your corporate file and to produce a report for a senior staff member to then refer to. And this is the whole point about templates and expert systems. You can design these systems, they don't take long. Remember, once it's designed, you keep using it over and over again, so you don't need to redesign it. Maybe you've got to tinker with it once in a while, but it shouldn't have to happen very often. And you do it by using templates and an expert system. In other words, you have templates which explain what needs to be done. You put them in a logical order within a program. In this case, I will be demonstrating it using Acrobat, which is very inexpensive and readily available software. And then that forms part of an expert system. I keep stressing this. The checking of a corporate file is but one aspect of an expert system in an accountancy practice or bookkeeping firm. And to me, the critical point is it intellectually challenges your staff. If you get a junior staff member able to do your corporate file checking because you're giving them the tools to do it, and you will determine the complexity of that review process and what you want to do. I'm just going to provide an example. That person is being intellectually challenged. There's more to a job than money. And I'm thinking here very much of junior staff. They may not even be accountants. They could be a 17, 18-year-old. A lot of these kids haven't been to uni, but they are very intelligent. They're crisp, they're fast, and if you intellectually challenge them, you will get both them learning new skills as well as them having job satisfaction. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is demonstrate a basic corporate file review system. It's just an example, You will have your own ideas about what works. And finally, on the article, you can download the PDF portfolio. It's not a complete document, ultimately because everyone will have a unique view of what a corporate review should look like in these circumstances.